Yay. Yay. Do you need another shot?
Not yet.
Okay.
Things change a lot sometimes, especially when you take $1 million from someone, right?
Well, like, have you seen heard anything about, like, the Fire Festival?
Oh, yes.
Like, years ago?
Yeah.
Fire Festival? One of the...
iconic.
She's talking to me, and she's like, these girls look miserable. What's going on here? Yay! Okay. Welcome back to Changing 100.
Welcome back.
Please excuse my allergies and my
nasally voice.
Yeah, my nasally voice and my...
That's okay. You know what? You know what's going to distract them? This beautiful set.
I know. This new lighting we have.
We're trying here.
Go, Krystal.
We're trying.
Go, Krystal. New lighting.
I just wanted us to look pretty.
I know. Because I'm too pale for the other lighting, to be honest.
I was just like, that lighting is not
I didn't want to say anything because I know you spend a lot of time editing. Krystal edits everything. But I would look at myself sometimes and I'd be like, gosh.
Oh.
She's white. Like,
yeah.
You know what? This whole past week, I wanted to put on tanner.
Me too.
I wanted to put on a tan this whole past week. But it's been so hot in the casino.
Oh, gosh.
And then the dancing, like, they haven't yet changed the thermostat for the heat outside that we've been experiencing and for the people inside.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like in the 90s most times.
But you know what comes when that thermostat switches over.
Freezing. Like I freeze my ass off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because there's no bodies in the casino and then I freeze.
Just standing there like.
So I haven't been complaining, but I also haven't been able to put on tanner because I sweat at work.
Yeah, and then you're going to have splotches everywhere.
Right. I was want a splotchy tan.
I was listening to this podcast. I think I was just telling you I was listening to Tana. How do you say her name for real, though?
I thought it was Tana Monagu.
It's not Monagu.
Is it not Monagu?
No, I don't think so. Anyway.
Are you talking about Tana, who's like YouTube and famous and like she's an influencer? She's blonde.
Yes, her.
I really thought it was Tana Monagu. It's not Tana Monagu?
I think it's Mojo. I think. But she was talking about how she went to Coachella because Coachella just passed.
Yes.
And she went to Coachella one year and she had fake tanner on and some guy went behind her and gave her like a shoulder. And then she had two massive white spots on her back because he rubbed the tanner off.
Wow.
And now I think about that and I'm like,
that's hilarious.
Good to know. That's never happened to me. Like, no one's rubbed my back that hard, I guess.
I think the only... Are you ready for this? I think the only time I had a bad tanning story where my tan literally melted off my body was when I went and I interviewed at Fontainebleau. And I talked about
outside for 8 hours?
I talked about it on this podcast because I had to stand outside in the heat for like
far too
5.5 hours, something like that, before I got inside the building.
Far too long.
And I had this white dress on, and I literally was standing like purposely with my arms out. None of my phalanges were touching my body because I knew I was gonna melt it off.
You're standing there like this.
I literally was standing in line with a girl in this white dress with red stripes with my straddled. Like my legs were like
shoulder width apart.
Like a little more than shoulder width apart, and my hands on my hips like this. Like I was standing in line for 5 hours like this because I knew I was sweating it off.
I think we've all, anybody who self tans, I think we definitely had this stance before.
I probably should have put my hair in a bun on top of my head, but I didn't. But I definitely was standing like this.
You were going to be outside for 5 hours in the blazing heat.
I sure did not, that's for sure. Literally, I think it was like.
It was bad.
It was bad. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say a temperature because I don't actually know what the temperature was, but it was gnarly.
Yeah.
It was tough.
I wasn't even there and it was bad.
Yeah.
This is
Changing 100.
Changing 100.
Woo-hoo.
I'm Krystal.
I'm Tori. We're so bad at this. We need to figure it out. This is a podcast about what? Because you're better at explaining it.
We're party pit dealers in Las Vegas, Nevada, if you didn't know. And if you don't know what party pit dealers are, go listen to season 1, episode 1. We talk about all of our crazy wild work stories and other people's crazy wild work stories.
Yes. Talk about stories that we hear from other people mostly.
Gosh, but I think about this not often, but when I think about the show and just about our jobs, I go, we have one of the jobs that we deal with we have some of the wildest interactions, like just out of I can't think of any other industry where you would deal with this much chaos, besides maybe in a hospital setting where people are just, because I've been in a hospital, I've had children.
Yeah.
And when you're in
Have
that
you?
mental state, yeah, 2 of them.
I've been in a hospital. I've had children. People go to the hospital for other reasons too.
Right, but when
Yeah.
you're in that mental state of needing help, your
Oh,
filter kind of
true.
goes out the window, and
That's
people do
true.
some weird fucking shit in the hospital. You say crazy things, but then I'm like, but you're in the medical industry and you're kind of there to help them. What the fuck
Yeah.
are we doing? And
That's
people act
true.
crazy to us.
That's interesting.
Try to think of another industry where the stuff we experience specifically.
I was going to say, when you were talking about that, my first thought was strip clubs.
Strip clubs,
Strip
yeah,
clubs,
there's
because
money there,
there's
yeah.
some wild ass shit that happens in the strip clubs
Because
too.
you have to think of we deal with a lot of people's money.
Yeah.
And when you deal with money,
Yeah, people's...
things change.
Yeah, that's true.
Things change a lot sometimes, especially when you take $1 million from someone, right? Things change.
That's true. That's so outside of my scope, but we're on such different levels. You at like a luxury high property, high limit dealer, and I'm over here as a downtown party pit dealer.
Yeah.
Just
now it's so different, but
the
still
scale.
the same.
No, really. It really is. It's just got a couple more zeros on the back of it.
Yeah, but the people are
But it's still the same.
People are the same.
People are still the same.
I'm thinking about it because I had these people on my table the other day. Should we just get into what the fucks?
Yeah, for real.
Wait, what is this episode going to be about? Are we just
We don't know. We're going to talk about Vegas allergies because they're outrageous.
One more time. It's Tori's turn this episode.
They're outrageous. I'm pissed. I've spent the last 2 months pissed off because I'm like, the allergies out here are insane. And this is my first year having real allergies. First year ever in my life having real allergies. And I'm like,
that's bad.
People really do this for 3-4 months of the year, every year? Like, this is miserable.
It's miserable.
The amount of times I have to blow my nose.
Yeah, it's bad. But it's extra bad this year.
This year's bad.
Do we say that every year? It's extra bad
Maybe.
this year.
Maybe we do say it every year. But no, this year's like...
It's pretty bad. I mean,
this year's
so
rough.
many people. I look at people, yesterday I looked at my supervisor and I was like, is he high?
No.
And he was like...
He probably was off of allergy medicine.
Yeah. He even said it. He's like, my eyes.
Yeah.
Allergies are killing me. My eyes are so irritated. And I was like, oh, I just thought you smoked some before work.
For me, I've been super congested. And some of the girls at work have been like, are you taking allergy medicine? And I'm like, I was for the first like 7 or 8 days. I was taking allergy medicine. But here's the thing. I'm so congested, like in my nose, in my head, in my ears. I didn't even know my ears were congested until the other day. I was taking a really hot bath and my ears started to unclog. I didn't even realize they were congested.
Whoa.
So the first like week I was taking allergy medicine, like just over the counter, whatever I could find. And it was clearing up my nasal passages, but then it was like running into my stomach. So I was taking a cough suppressant and a decongestant. So I stopped coughing, which was good because I'm at work and I was literally hacking. Like it was like a horsey cough. Like it's not cute. So, and then I've been congested, but what happened was it broke everything up like in my nose area. So I could breathe and I wasn't blowing my nose and I wasn't coughing. But then it was like running it the back of my throat into my stomach and my stomach was gargling.
Here she goes.
So gross. I hate that. Hold on.
I know this.
I hate that noise. Oh, I hate that noise. So, but it made me feel worse because then my stomach hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a situation where I was like, pick your hard. Like, what hard do you want to deal with? So I was like, I would rather not have my stomach gargle and my stomach be hurting at work. I would rather just be blowing my nose 1,000 times a day.
It's rough this year.
Yeah.
I'm on 2 different allergy medications right now, so I'm okay, but it's been rough.
Someone was telling me to start taking Claritin D, and I haven't taken that since I was a kid.
I take Allegra and the nasal spray. What is it called?
Okay.
Nasonex?
Something like that.
I got the generic one from Costco.
Well, it's been super windy here in Vegas, and everyone's allergies are acting up, and it's not fun. It's miserable. I have not been having a good time.
Let's do some Vegas updates. We talked about some shows in the last episode. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that's going to be a deleted scene or not. I think that's a deleted scene. So this
Which
is a
one?
little.
We talked about a couple shows in the last episode.
There was 2 segments we did. We did the top 10 things to do in Vegas, and then we did shows. And I think this shows is going to be a deleted scene you guys will see in the future. But we talked about one that we haven't seen, and it's actually getting canceled. Or it's not canceled. It's closing. Oh, which one? I guess I
Which
should have
one
looked
is
this up.
it?
I'll let you know in a second.
Hmm?
So unprepared.
I always feel like it's sad when shows close. Just because I was a dancer and I know a lot of dancers, and when things close, it's just like, ugh. Because for the dancers in this city, like, you just know your industry's dying, and it's just sad. Like,
I don't know if the shows are.
they always try and reopen a new show, but it's just never as successful as shows have been in the past.
If you watch that last episode, I don't go to shows.
Yeah.
I haven't gone to any shows.
I go to shows. I love shows.
What else has happened in Vegas? Lovers and Friends got canceled.
Oh, God. So, okay, so they said it was for the win. Lovers and Friends is a music festival. What kind of music festival is it? Is it hip-hop?
Hip-hop, yeah. Well, it's definitely
Is it a
hip-hop,
mix?
R&B,
Okay. So,
rap.
yeah, it got canceled due to winds, and I'm not going to lie, it's been windy. It's been windy the last couple days. It's been windy.
Yeah.
But they canceled it like the night before at
The
like
night
10
before.
p.m. And I read on Instagram that it was canceled after Usher did his sound check.
Oh,
And they canceled it by just posting on their Instagram
they did.
at 10 p.m. So if you're coming from out of state and you're in a different time zone than we are, and you came to Vegas and you bought your ticket and your hotel room and everything, and you're sleeping because you're prepared to wake up and go to the music festival the next day, and that's how it was canceled. Ooh.
I had somebody out of town here for
Yuck.
Lovers and Friends, and all their plans got ruined, obviously.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do, right? The wind is, I don't know how many miles per hour.
Windy. It's been brutal.
It got up to a very dangerous amount of miles per hour that nobody wants a stage to fall on them. Come on, guys.
No, for real. Like, to the point where, like, I know at our pool, they, like, half closed the pool because things were flying.
You sent me that reel, and those bed mattresses, what are they called?
The day beds.
The day beds just flying across.
Flying. Like, chairs flipping over. You know, the, like, ropes that they put up?
Mhm.
So I guess, like, at our casino, they roped off the pool so people wouldn't get in. Ropes were falling in. And those like, stands are heavy.
They're heavy.
They're good. They're heavy duty.
Yeah.
Those were falling in the pool. Chairs were flipping over. It's been
dangerous.
windy, okay?
It can get really dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lovers and Friends got canceled. I found it. Caw
Caw's closing?
Caw's gonna close. Isn't that sad? Caw's been
That's
around
really sad.
forever.
You know, right before COVID, I heard that Cirque du Soleil was filing for bankruptcy.
Oh.
That was right before COVID happened. I don't know if they actually filed or not, but I know that they, like, the whole Cirque du Soleil brand was going under.
Oh no.
But you know what? Maybe COVID did them well because everyone got, like, business loans,
That's right. Yeah.
like grants.
Yeah.
They don't have to pay back. They don't have to worry about. So maybe they got, like, a fatty grant, and then they were shut down for a year, so they didn't have to pay any of their people. Like,
That's true.
maybe things kind of worked out for them.
There were a lot of strikes because none of those people were getting paid. They didn't have
Yeah.
jobs. Nothing.
So, but then right after COVID, they opened Awake, which is a new show at Wynn.
That's right.
Right after COVID, they opened a new show.
Who knows? Who knows what the business inner
Yeah,
things are going.
the entertainment dance industry. It's a tough world.
I have a few more. So America's Got Talent Live is closing in
Oh,
May.
I did know that because a bunch of people I know just got, like, half price tickets or something to
Oh.
go.
What else? The Beatles Love is closing in July.
That's sad.
Yeah. And then Cause going to close.
Oh.
And
Should
yeah.
we go see them before they close?
Oh, I've seen Caw. I don't think I want to see Caw again.
I've seen Call already. Have you seen Beatles Love?
I did see the Beatles Love.
Oh, you did?
It's really good. If you haven't seen it, go see it before it closes in
maybe
July.
Maybe I'll go see it before it shuts down.
It's a really good one.
That's disappointing.
Especially if you know some Beatles songs. Like
Yeah.
obviously they're going to use all the main hits in the show.
So I just recently heard that the thing about the Beatles Cirque du Soleil show was that they kept the integrity of the Beatles music.
What do you mean?
So for like the Michael Jackson show and for all the other Cirque du Soleil shows where they use music from other bands, they like remix it or change the song or something, probably so they don't have to pay royalties on it.
Yeah.
But they like remix it or change it. But the Beatles show was the only show that they didn't change the music.
That's true. They
So
played the songs out full.
Yeah. So like in the dancer world, like a bunch of people really appreciated that show because it held the integrity of the original song.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I do remember them. It's like the song, like the song you would hear if you listen to any of their songs. It wasn't remixed. It wasn't changed. It wasn't anybody else doing a cover of it.
Right.
Like
exactly.
Any weird things like that. But yeah, those are some Vegas updates that I guess could kind of be timely when this episode goes out. I remember when that one big show when we were young, the big emo show came around, and everyone was really skeptical that it was even a real thing. And then it got canceled the day before because of wind. And people were like, we knew it was fake. We knew it was a scam. We told you guys it was a scam. All the people who never bought tickets. And we had tickets at day 2. So imagine us going, did we just get scammed?
Dang.
And then day 2 rolls around, the winds died. And we went to the festival and we're like, oh, we didn't get scammed.
Okay, well, there you go. But like, have you seen heard anything about like the Fire Festival?
Oh, yes.
Like years ago?
Yeah.
Fire Festival?
One of the
podcast series that I regularly listen to had the guy of Fire Festival, like the guy who planned and organized the whole thing, on while he was in jail.
Whoa.
So he was like calling through the jail phone. So like every like 18 minutes or something, you would hear it be like, this call is ended from da-da-da sanctuary or penitentiary.
How expensive was that interview?
I'm sure the guy who owns the podcast paid for it because
for sure.
What a great interview to do through prison, you know?
Did you see those meals? Well, like 2 pieces of bread with just like a piece of cheese on it and like a piece of lettuce just sitting on the other side of the styrofoam container.
No.
And that's what people were eating, or that was the meals that they paid for. You didn't see that? I remember that. Did you watch the documentary?
I didn't watch the documentary.
Okay.
I should go on Netflix and watch it because there's one on it. But I remember at the end of the interview, he was like, so are you going to try and do another one? Like another festival? And he was like, I don't know. But you know what? The thing that got me about his interview was he was so, I can't remember the guy's name, whoever was in charge of Fire Festival, whoever designed it.
Something McFarlane.
Yes. He was so HR, corporate, professional. Every answer he gave was so perfect that I was like, I think you've sat in jail and have had years of coaching.
Right.
Or I don't know if he's been in there for years, but he's had months of coaching on how to
sitting there, yeah.
How to interact and respond to questions like this.
Interesting.
Like it just wasn't genuine. It just didn't seem genuine.
Oh, now I want to listen to it.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
But it was really interesting because he talked about how he had these investors and he like really thought he could actually pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Then he kept running out of money and then he found more investors and he actually thought it was going to happen until the day of. Like, because at that point he had all these investors he had to pay back. Like, it had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like some things he talked about.
I think,
but it just seemed so, yeah, I guess just the best way to describe it is ungenuine.
So I can see the parallels as to why a lot of people thought when we were young wasn't going to happen. One of the things was that artist he booked didn't even know they were booked. And they were coming forward saying like, this guy's promoting me for his show, but I know nothing about it, but he's going to say that I'm going to be there to perform. Wow. And some of that stuff happened for when we were young, before the first festival happened, is that some of the bands came out and were like, I guess we're going to Vegas. And that's why everyone was like, well, is this another Fire Festival that's going to happen? It wasn't. Thank God.
Wild.
But, yeah, I could see the parallels of people being like, have an eyebrow raised, like, these bands didn't know they were booked for this giant festival.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened. But if you ever come to Vegas in the springtime,
she's windy.
She is windy. So don't be surprised if your plans get completely canceled because of wind. Pool parties, festivals, anything outdoors.
We talked about the dust storms a couple episodes ago.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to be outside in a dust storm. I mean, I grew up in South Florida. Everybody knows now. And I grew up in hurricanes, so I know the kind of damage that wind can do. So I definitely understand it when it happens here. But I don't, I explained in the last episode, I didn't know how windy Vegas got.
Yeah.
So I can see why people would be like, it's just a little bit of wind.
No,
it's not a little bit of wind.
It's not a little bit of wind.
We're like 60,
you're struggling to keep your car in your lane. Yeah. Like the winds are blowing.
When it's blowing and I think about, because I have an SUV and even on my little thing says it can flip, I think about, I'm like,
am I going to flip over? Yeah, I know. You're like driving, you're like, this might be the day.
If I take this corner too hard.
Yeah, for real.
Am I rolling? Am I going to roll down this?
I can't picture you being in a car rolling.
Hopefully never. Like me neither. All right, those are kind of our Vegas updates. Anything else? I feel like some other stuff has happened in Vegas. Well, because we talked about this, or it might be a deleted thing. So we talked about that, updated that those shows are closing. There might be more shows closing, and I didn't write it down. What else? Any other updates? I can't think of anything.
I do feel like something is going on, but I can't think of it.
We'll loop back.
Okay.
And this episode, we really don't have
a specific topic.
Yeah, we don't really have a North Star we're following.
But we can do what the fucks now.
So I think that's what we're going to do. Because we have some good ones.
We do have some good ones.
We've been saving them.
I do have to blow my nose.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay. So
this episode is pretty much going to be a giant what the fuck episode.
So I had a what the fuck.
I can't wait to hear it.
I texted Krystal the second I got off that table. I was like, I was so mad texting her. Like, I was heated. And I don't get heated like that very easily. But I'll tell you, like, fun fact about Tori is one of the very few things that really pisses me off are people who intentionally try and make other people's lives difficult for either selfish reasons or no reasons at all. I just don't take disrespect to other people well. And it wasn't even that this lady was disrespecting me, but just her whole plan was pissing me off.
Okay.
And I read through her game instantly.
All right. Everybody get your popcorn.
No, for real. So.
Get cozy.
I tap in at my table. I'm in the roulette pit. So I'm only at the table for 40 minutes. And then I go dance and then I go on break. So I tap in to this roulette pit. I have 3 players. I have 1 random guy and I have 2 women who are standing right next to me. The women, second I get there, look me up and down.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, all right. All right, noted.
Yeah.
I'm just taking notes in my head. They look at me. They literally look me up and down. They turn around. They whisper something to each other and they start playing. So I'm like, okay, noted. Like, we're already starting off this way. That's fine. We'll see how we do. Maybe if you guys win, you'll loosen up a little bit. The dealer I tapped out turned to these girls and were like, thank you, ladies, so much. Have a great night. The ladies who were playing at my table were Hispanic. The dealer I tapped out was Hispanic. So maybe they just bonded.
Maybe, yeah.
Clearly, I'm
not Hispanic.
Not Hispanic. So maybe they were just immediately like, oh, we're not going to bond with her as much as we
white
bond.
Girl.
For real, this white girl, exactly. Funny enough, that same night I had somebody call me a white girl. My whole night was filled with what the fuck. It's like I had a moment in the night and I was like, oh, it's just one of these nights. Like, I was like, I need to calm down. It's just one of these nights. So we're playing. Another guy comes in. This couple comes in. Okay, so I have a full table. This couple who is a man and a woman, and she was like an older white woman, but she looked great. She was probably in her like 40s. Looks phenomenal though. They're playing for not even 10 minutes. They each buy in for $100. They're playing $5 chips. That's all they buy in for. Okay. Not even 10 minutes into them playing, this white woman goes, we haven't had cocktails, and that's incredibly unacceptable, and we need comp drinks right now.
Good Lord. Ma'am, you are downtown.
And I looked at her, and I was like...
And the bar is right there.
I'm like, you have...
Literally
the bar is like 20 feet away from us.
Yeah.
Clearly in eyesight. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not even going to pretend I heard that comment because you haven't even been here for 10 minutes. You bought in $100. You can wait for the cocktail server to make her rounds. You didn't even give her enough time to make her rounds.
No.
Will you calm down?
People
So I
are
was like,
so weird. They think the moment they get to a table, the cocktail waitress is just gonna pop up.
right, with a 6 trays of variety cocktails that she's gonna hand you right away.
Right. Like that's not how it works.
Like I'm like, is that how it works in restaurants? No.
no.
You sit down, you look at the menu, you wait a few minutes, somebody comes around, takes your drink. Can you calm down?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna pretend I hear this. So she says it again. And I tell her, I said, we don't have any way to call the servers. We don't have radios. We don't have phones at our casino. They just make their rounds. I was like, they walk around. They come from this direction. If I see one behind you, I'll flag her down. That's what I tell everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I see one walk behind you that I know is in our section, I'll
Right,
flag her
yeah.
down for you. I know most of their names. I'll flag her down. So she's sitting there. She's playing. The 2 Hispanic chicks next to me, I guess, have been there for over an hour and still haven't gotten a cocktail.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm like, okay.
Right? Like now you're like,
Okay, I understand for the 2 Hispanic girls. For this white lady, don't understand.
right.
You
like,
can wait.
You can
calm down.
Mhm.
So my floor comes up and she's half Hispanic. So she's talking to these ladies and she's like, no, it's terrible. I keep calling my manager. I can't go over my manager's head. I can't call their manager.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we're in limbo. We're waiting. So I'm like, okay, this white lady is freaking the fuck out.
oh God.
She's looking at me and she won't stop talking about drinks. She calls my floor over. And I love this floor. You didn't work with this floor, but I love this floor. She is the best. Like, anytime I have players, they're like, yo, your pit boss is awesome. And I'm like, I know. She is the best in general. Her customer service is 10 out of 10. Her energy, 10 out of 10. Her, like, help. Actually, she actually is one of the few people in our company who wants us to do well. Who actually takes the time and explains things to us. And it's
This
like,
must sound crazy for people who don't know our industry or don't work in it because they're probably like,
Yeah.
isn't that their job?
No.
Like, no.
so like she
I
actually
mean, it is their job, but they don't act like that all the time.
wants us to do well. And she's one of the few people that will sit and explain why things are done the way they're done.
Okay.
So you understand why they're done and why you have to do things certain ways.
Which is
like
rare.
They're so rare.
Just so everyone knows that it's rare for a lot
for
of
a pit boss to
supervisors
care
do
about
that.
you like that.
Yeah.
It is so rare.
Unfortunately.
Because a lot of the pit bosses have been dealers for many years
Mhm.
that are now pit bosses and they're over it and they're tired of the industry and they're just there to work and they're not going to deal with any confrontation. Like that's why they go into pit being a boss, being
And
a supervisor instead of being a dealer.
And they think all the dealers don't know what they're doing.
Yes, a majority
A lot
of them do
think
think
that. Yeah, they're like, they don't know what they're doing.
Especially at our casino where everybody's a break-in dealer.
Right. So under that context.
So she's phenomenal. Love her. So she's talking to this lady and she's like explaining like I've called my supervisor many times. I'm sorry, like this is the most I can do. I can't call the cocktail servers. We don't have any way to contact them. We just don't have that set up in our casino.
Yeah.
Most casinos have a phone that they can then call the cocktail servers and say, hi, we need cocktails to pit 4. Hi, we need cocktails to high limit. Hi, we need cocktails to...
Yeah, the well, right? There's a phone back there.
So, yes,
Yeah.
there's phones in the well. We don't have that at our casino. I don't know why, but we don't.
Maybe because it's smaller. Like you really can just
maybe
like
it's a smaller
yell.
Property.
You're like, hey.
maybe because it's a smaller property. So this woman is looking at these girls dancing on the box. She's talking to me and she's like, these girls look miserable. What's going on here?
Oh my goodness. What is happening?
And typically I can't lie to people. And I'm like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
They are dancing like shit.
Yeah.
They really hate being up there. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't lie to people. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, do you hear the song playing?
Oh. What was the song? Do you remember?
Some type of elevator music, like just
Yeah.
bad,
Oof, I hated when that would come on because it's just like
just
so-
bad and slow.
what do
And
I
you're like, what
do?
do I'm supposed to be a party pit dancer and I'm supposed to dance to this slow song? Like,
It's
what am I supposed to
two-step.
do? Right. So I was like, well, do you hear the song playing?
Mhm.
Like I was trying to give everybody a benefit of the doubt because I could tell this lady was just there to cause noise. She's like, what's going on here? She's trying to get me to be like, we're being trafficked. I don't know. She's like, what's going on here? Do I need to call somebody? Like, I've been around. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, have you been happy every single day at your job?
Right.
Every single day, you're happy, smiling, raging, just so excited to work. Every single day? No, nobody is. You can't expect that. Like, yes, I know you're in Vegas. So, like, a few minutes go by and she's still raging. The guy she's with loses. She's, like, going back and forth, winning, losing, winning, losing. The guy she's with loses all his money. He doesn't buy it back in again. And she's like, take out your camera. So he goes to get his camera. My pit boss comes up and is like, sir, you can't record.
Right.
Can't record.
Yeah.
Sir,
No.
you can't record.
Mm-mm.
Tells him 3 times, can't record. Like, different occasions throughout our interaction. Tells him 3 times you can't record. So then she goes, hey. She looks at me and she's like, hey. And I'm like, hi. She's like, come here. So we're leaning over the table. We're like this.
Captain Save-A-Ho over here.
Like, trying to talk.
Is that who she thinks she is?
So she's like, listen. She's like, I've been around. She's like, I can tell something's not right here.
Oh.
She's like, do I need to call an investigator?
Oh my God.
So I'm laughing at this lady.
What?
At this point, I'm laughing at this lady because I can tell. I'm like, you're here to cause problems. You just want free drinks. Like, you bought in $100. You're raging. Like, she said maybe 3 or 4 times, like, this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. We haven't gotten drinks at this table. I've been here for this amount of time. We're playing all this money. And I'm like, lady, you've bought in $100.
$100.
You know how many times I touch $100 in a night?
She obviously hasn't been around. Ma'am, I've taken $1 million from one person.
So here's the thing.
Calm down.
So I keep looking at her because here's the thing. She's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at her and I'm like, you were a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
I can just tell. Like, I'm like, you were a stripper. And not only that, but I've worked in 3 strip clubs. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, I think I know where you've stripped before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at her and I'm like, she looks real familiar to me. So I ask her, I say, where are you from? And because she told me, she's like, I have followers. Like, I could go on live right now and I could help you guys out. What's going on here?
What in the world?
She keeps asking me. So I'm starting to get mad because she's just here to cause havoc. She keeps telling my whole table, everybody get your phones out. Let's go on live right now. We'll get drinks this fast. So I'm starting to get mad
Yeah.
because I'm like, you're here just to cause problems. You don't really care because if you are a real gambler, you don't care about this $100 you
Nope.
put in to play 15 on black. You
Right.
don't care about this. Like, if you were a real gambler, you would be playing. You're not
Right.
playing.
Yeah, no.
You're here for the free drinks, and you haven't gotten a drink in 10 minutes that you've been here, and you're mad. So she's telling my full table. Okay, I have all of my 6 colors are out. I have people popping in and out. I have people playing red 5s on the inside, the checks. I have people playing 25s on the inside. Like, I have a full table. Like, I'm busy. I do not have time for you to be like, yo, come here. Let me talk to you. Like, sit the fuck down.
Right.
I'm starting to get mad because I can see what type of person she is and I can tell what's going on. So she's trying to get everybody to take their phones out and go on live or start recording or something. She's like, everyone go on Google right now. We'll write a review.
What is
Everybody
wrong
right
with
now,
her?
let's write a bad review.
Honestly, I don't know. I probably would have stopped at this point. I would have been like, you know what? Fool.
So when she told me when she was like, hey, come here. Like, she's like, do I need to get somebody in here? I was like, call him in.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I
would have
stepped
been
back and I was like, call him in.
Yeah.
And she was like, I knew it. Go on live right now. Points at her man that she's with. So he goes on live.
He went on live.
So he goes on live. He's recording her. And she's like, I'm here at downtown. These girls, she's like, show them on the box. So he goes to pan. So he's panning me to pan the girls on the box to then circle around the whole casino. Again, not allowed. So you know what I fucking do? Because I'm like, I'm not going to let you win in this situation. So she's sitting here saying that everybody's miserable. These people are miserable. My players are miserable. I'm miserable. The girls on the box are miserable. So I turn to my players and I start laughing and joking with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I hope she
Yeah.
gets on her live, me laughing and joking with the players. Okay? So I start laughing. Clearly fake laugh, but whatever.
Yeah. Who cares?
Like,
who cares?
I'm joking with them. He won't take me off the live. He literally is sitting there just recording me.
Ew.
On live.
First of all, consent.
She's talking.
Oh, you're at
So
work.
then she goes, back up and get both of us in the frame. So he backs up to then get both of her and me, who's on the inside of the table, she's on the outside of the table, in the frame at the same time. And she's going off. She's like, these girls are miserable. Something weird is going on here. Nobody's happy. How come I don't have a cocktail?
Oh, she's still on about the cocktail?
She's still going on. So eventually, because my floor's already told him 3 times he can't record.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows.
Mm-hmm.
She knows. Clearly, they've been around. They fucking know this game.
They know. You know.
So he stops recording. I look at her. I really wanted to ask her name, but I didn't. Because I kind of wanted to embarrass her at that point. I kind of wanted to be like, yeah, I used to work at Sapphire. Did you used to work there?
Yeah.
That's what I should have asked her on her live.
Yeah, you should. Oh, you should have.
I should have been like,
so good.
Because I wanted to look her up and go on break and try and find her.
Find her, yeah.
So I asked her, I was like, where are you from? She's like, Vegas. I was like, but where are you from? Because nobody's really from Vegas. She's like, I was born and raised here. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Detective Krystal is about to come.
I know. I was like,
on the case.
So I was like, that makes sense. She was like, listen, I'm old. I've been around. I've cocktailed. I've been in the entertainment industry. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Because I can tell. I know. She's like, I can tell here that something's not right. Like, you can tell me I'm a safe person.
Safe for what? For a fucking headache?
So then after like 10 minutes of that shit going on, my floor comes back, looks at these 2 ladies, these 2 Hispanic ladies who are still there playing. And she's like, hey, I talked to the bartender, the lead bartender. If one of you go right now, he'll give you free drinks, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. So she was like, okay. Yeah. So one of them leaves, goes and gets 4 shots, brings them back. They have 2. She gives the other 2 to this lady and her dude.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though, is my floor was talking to these 2 women who have been here for over an hour. Mm-hmm. This chick over on the other side who has been there for maybe 20 minutes at this point hears that, sends her dude to the bar. The bar was not busy. And let me just say one thing. Like, we don't talk about the casino that I work at, but we have bomb-ass bartenders at my casino.
Yes. That
phenomenal bartenders at my casino.
We can all agree with on that.
We have a massive bar. They pour thick, deep shots and drinks. Mm-hmm. Like, shit is decently priced. Like, we have good bartenders at my casino. Bar, not even busy. So this guy comes back maybe 2 minutes later and tells the whole table and the table next to me that I went to the bar for a drink and they said that they were too busy to help me. And now I'm fuming because I'm friends with a lot of the bartenders or I know them personally. And I'm like, no, they wouldn't.
Right, no.
And I'm looking at the bar and I'm like, the bar's not even busy. You haven't even been gone for 2 whole minutes.
Talk to anybody.
You probably went and hid behind that slot and came back and said that just to start a riot. Like, just to start problems.
And he came after the shots were delivered to the table?
Yes. So then my pit boss comes back to the table. And this white lady's still raging. Still like, we don't have drinks. This is ridiculous. Like, this is unacceptable. She keeps saying it. It's unacceptable. Like, this is terrible customer service. My pit boss is so entertaining it. And I was like, if I was in a different situation where she wasn't my supervisor and I wasn't at work, I would have been like, stop talking to them.
Yeah.
This is what they want.
Yeah. 100%. They just want the reaction.
Yes.
They're feeding off of it so much.
So after my super sweet, amazing, phenomenal pit boss came to talk to them for the 3rd time, she left. She was just like, I'm doing what I can. I'm so sorry. Like, this isn't our department. I'm trying. I can't go over my boss's head. She's fully explaining everything to them. And I'm just standing there and I'm annoyed.
Aggravated.
Oh, and also in front of this entire table, I touch my pit boss on the shoulder and I say, hi, just so you know, I'm not being taken care of here.
Yes.
Because a lot of the pit bosses are like, if they're not taking care of the dealers, I'm not going to do anything extra for them.
Yeah, no.
Right? So I touch her on the shoulder and in front of everybody because at this point, I don't care because you're being a bitch and you're just trying to make people's lives difficult. I was like, just so you know, I'm not being taken care of here. Mm-hmm. You know? And I was like, she says she's from Vegas. She's into industry. She should know how this goes.
She should know.
So immediately she throws me $10.
Oh, thanks. $10.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Here's $10. And I was like, wow, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Racket. This lady just won't stop. And at this point, I'm heated because my personal pet peeve is people making other people's lives difficult for no reason. For no
reason. For her
and I'm
own
like,
entertainment.
You know what you're doing.
For her own entertainment.
So I look at her and I
she's
stop.
Bored.
I look at her and I stop. And I'm like, you know, I was like, you know that you're talking to line level employees who are in a completely different department.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me back and she said, yes, but you understand that you're under a bigger umbrella of problems. And I said, I do, but you know you're talking to the wrong employees in the wrong department and you're purposely making our lives hard for no reason.
Right. If you really cared, go to management.
Right.
Go to corporate.
Because I looked at her and I was like, the bar is right there. Clearly you're okay to go buy your own drink.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell. I've been in this industry. I've been around pimps. I've been in strip clubs. Like and this is not rude. Like this, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be like stereotypical. But I'm like, but if you're going to come in like that and be heated like that, like at this point, I'm standing up for myself and my pit boss because I'm not going to let you sit here and run
bully
havoc.
you guys. She's bullying you guys.
Literally bully. So I was like, but you understand that you're talking to the wrong department, line level employees for no reason, just to be difficult. And she shut the fuck up.
She did?
She did.
Good for you.
She stopped talking for like a good 5-6 minutes.
Good for you. Round of applause.
Because I was like, what are you doing?
No, honestly. Yeah.
Like you picked the wrong. So I'm like, but I'm like mad.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
Because you have so many things you just want to say.
So I get tapped out.
Just trying to be as professional as you can be.
No, for real. That was as professional as it was going to be. Because I was like, let me just let her know that she's talking to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Because I just started telling people that. Like, I'd be like, sir, if I could get you a cocktail, believe me, I would.
Right, yeah. Like,
I would get you whatever you wanted with whatever premium liquor you wanted. But it's not my department, and I'm sorry. But you sitting here for an entire hour being like, where are the cocktail servers? Where are the I cannot help you.
We should get a billboard one day and be like, PSA. Dealers.
Yeah.
And
Cocktail
so waitresses.
Here's what I've learned in my work experience in general is that people want to know information.
Oh, for sure. They definitely do, yeah.
Here's the thing about like higher ups and supervisors and stuff is they're like, well, don't tell them that because then they'll freak out.
Yeah.
No, tell them that. Because how many times have you been out and you're sitting around and you're waiting 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 and you're like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody came up to you and said, hey, here's what's happening. We had a fire in the kitchen. They're cleaning up. I'm so sorry. I will bring you a drink. I'll comp it off your bill.
All of a sudden,
but this is what we're waiting on.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. It's going to be another 40 minutes. And I realize that's a long time. And if you guys want to leave, I completely understand.
That's good customer service.
Then people are like, oh, okay. No big deal.
They completely forgive you. It's good customer service. And what more could
people want information.
100%.
They don't want to be sitting there twiddling their thumbs being like, why is this? Do we leave? Do we not leave? What's going on?
Exactly.
Like, I want this steak, but I can't get this. Like, what's happening? People want information.
You have to give the decision back to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I tell people straight up, that's why I don't lie to people.
An informed decision too, right? Because you don't want them to go, well, I guess we'll just leave.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But if you tell them and explain this is why, then it's up to them at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just like, I don't ever lie to people. I tell people everything up front. And like, even like times I've cocktail server, I've done the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like times like that, I have ran events and I'm running the front door for like a music festival and I'm in charge of everything. I tell people straight up who are in line, they're like, you were supposed to open 30 minutes ago. How come you haven't opened yet? Because they want the line to fill up so they can record it.
Yep.
They want the content. And they'll be like, oh. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, yeah.
And that's it. And people are like, oh.
But people are like, don't tell people that. We don't want people knowing that we're making them wait so we can get. No.
They're going to end up waiting.
I'm telling them that.
They're going to wait without being annoyed now.
Because here's also the thing. The people that are saying that, who are like, don't tell people that, are also going somewhere and hiding so they don't have to deal with it. I'm dealing with it. I'm telling people what's up.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. So like at work, at my job, I tell people straight up, I'm like, the cocktail servers are slow. When they bring your first drink, order the next one right away because you will not see them for an hour.
Mm-hmm. Or just tip them well and put the order in for the next drink and they will come back, at least to you.
Here's the thing. The cocktail servers at our casino, I feel like they don't.
Well, you know what?
They don't care. They don't care about the tip.
Yeah.
Because people have said that to me. They're like, oh, no, you just tip them well up front and they keep coming back. And I'm like.
It depends on the person.
Depends on the cocktail server, okay?
It totally does.
I tell her that. She stops talking. I get tapped out. I do my ladies, good luck.
Yeah.
the fuck for you. Have a good night, I guess. I go dance on the box. So when I dance on the box, I actually dance compared to a lot of the girls.
Yeah.
I cheat though. I was a trained dancer my entire life. I was classically trained for 20 plus years. Like I can move. So I'm on the box dancing and I know she's watching me.
Of course.
And I'm like, I'm going to get it this entire 20 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking bust my ass dancing on this box. So that's what I do. And she tries to go on live again and realizes like, oh, like she's
not miserable.
She's dancing. So she goes off live. Doesn't record anything, nothing. I really wish I would have asked her name, but I was kind of intimidated. So while I'm on the box dancing, they get like 6 rounds of drinks delivered to them in the 20 minutes that I'm on the box dancing. She's like so happy. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're like hooting and hollering. I just like, so after I got tapped off, I went to the floor and I just told her, I was like, that's what they wanted. They're downtown. Now they have premium liquor for free. They're literally a 2-minute walk from like 7 other casinos.
Yeah.
She's going to go to every single casino and do the same thing because nobody's stopping her. Nobody's shutting her down. And that's why I told her, I was like, you know what you're doing. I can see your type.
They're bullies.
Like, listen, like.
They're straight up bullies.
Like, everyone's like.
Until they get their way.
Everyone's like, Tori, you're a baby. You've only been dealing for 3 years. You haven't even seen half the I'm like, no, I know people.
Yeah, you don't need to be a baby dealer to not understand things. And you've worked other jobs in Vegas.
I have had so many jobs in Vegas because most of the time I work 2 or 3 at once because I'm a psychopath. I know people.
Oh, I hate
know
that.
people in
You're
the
a baby
city.
dealer. No, you've worked jobs where
I know what part of the country you're from the second you sit down. The second I have any type of interaction with you, I can tell who the fuck you are. And I just was so mad because I personally hate that. Yeah. Like, you came into my place of work to cause problems and you were telling my whole full table, everybody, let's write a bad review right now. What's your name? Her name's on her collar. Like, let's write it down. Let's say Tori's at the table and she's miserable and she doesn't want to be here and something's wrong and she told me to call the investigators in and let's go on live and pan this whole place and put her on the live. Girl.
The moment the phone would have came out with the live, I would have.
I went in the break room. Okay. I went in the break room after I got done dancing on the box. And I was like, ladies, I need to vent really quick. Because I try and go in the break room and just be supportive and quiet if possible. And I just was like, I was luckily with a lot of my friends in the break room. So I was like, real quick, I just need to vent. So I just raged for like 10 minutes. And then I came back down and I was like, I hope she's still there. Because if she's still there, I'm going to ask her what the fuck her name is. Because I'm going to be like, oh, well, let me look you up. Like, you've been in the industry. Like, you look familiar. Like, maybe
let me follow you.
Or like, maybe you can help me because I don't want to do this forever. Like, I was going to play the game.
Just BS her the whole time.
Oh, God. I was so mad.
She was gone.
I was so mad and she was gone. And I was like, that's what she wanted. She wanted her free drinks of whatever she wanted so she could move to the next casino and cause the same problems and do the same thing. And I was so angry. And I was also angry because my floor, who is like the best human being that you will ever meet in a casino table games setting, was just entertaining it. And I was like, no, stop it. So I told her, I was like, did you see her put me on her live? She's like, why didn't you tell me that? And I was like, because what were you going to do? And she was like, I would have kicked her off the table. And I looked at my floor, who I love, and I was like, they should have been kicked off the table 3 times ago when you told him 3 times, sir, you can't record. When she kept yelling and screaming at me and at everybody else. Krystal, like 4 times, she was like, hey, come here. Hey, come here.
Oh, my God.
She's like, what's really going on here? 4 times.
I would have been like, I'm not making enough money, so.
That's what I should have said to her. I was so mad.
But yeah, no.
I should have been like, well, I'm not getting tipped and you're causing problems and I have a lot to do. So that's why I'm mad right now.
That's what's going on right now.
That's what I should have said. You're right.
But I mean, like, in the heat of the moment. We were just talking about off camera that.
Yeah.
What frustrates us the most is women not supporting women.
Yes. Because my whole thing was once I realized she was born and raised in Vegas and she's been around and she's worked in this industry And once I made the connection in my head that I was like, oh, me and you worked at Sapphire together,
Mhm.
I was like, how dare you? You know how this goes. You know how the service industry goes. You know how the service industry in Vegas goes. How dare you come somewhere and try and make, because me, I'm a woman, my pit boss was a woman, and all the girls dancing on the box are women. I'm like, how
Yeah.
dare you as a woman come in here and try and make another woman's life this hard?
Wreak havoc on, and we're at work.
We're at, like, I was like, lady, we're at work. I was so mad just because it was so outrageous for no reason. I'm like, you started this because you didn't get a drink within the first 10 minutes of you sitting here.
She's a bully. There were bullies. They're doing that.
Yeah.
They're doing that everywhere. It's so annoying. Oh, it
I
makes me
was
mad
like,
thinking about it.
that was my whole thing is I was like, you who are born and raised here and have claimed that you've worked in this industry and you've been around and you've done all these things, you know how this goes. And the fact that you're going to come into another business and see these young women working and just trying to make money and you're not going to tip them, which you know better. If you're watching this, girl, don't play with me. Hit me up on Instagram. We can fucking talk. Like, you know better. And I'm like, and then the fact that you were trying to get everybody else to riot with you,
The live is what got me.
I was like, come on, girl. Like, really? And I just like, so a long time ago, before I met my husband, I was talking to this guy. And I had a moment like this with somebody else that I had just been around with a lot because I was partying a lot back then. And I think it was just a girl that I had been partying with. And I am personally full on girl code. I have thrown my own husband under the bus when we were dating. I threw him under the bus with another chick. Like, I do not care who you are in my life. I am hardcore girl code. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, because I was dating this guy and I was going through something with some chick that I'd been partying with a lot who was an opportunist, and she would just like kind of climb the ladder and she would just throw these girls under the bus. And I was telling him about it and I was like, if girls supported girls the way guys support the way guys support guys, this would be a very different world.
So different.
And he didn't understand what I meant. Then I was like, okay, we're sitting at this bar in a casino. We were at the Cosmo. We were at like a bar on the floor. And I said, okay, I was like, here's a situation for you. We're sitting at this bar, me and you. A couple comes up to us. He dabs you up. He just walks up. He's like, hey, man, goes to dab you up. Are you dabbing him up or no? And he was like, I'm going to dab him up. And I was like, okay. So you dab him up. You dab him up. You're like, cool, what's up, man? He's like, hey, dude, like, my girl's tripping. Like, weren't we together last night? We were here sitting all night last night. What are you going to do? You don't know this dude. You don't know this girl. He's like, oh, I'm probably going to agree with him. And I'm like,
100%.
exactly.
They blindly support
exactly.
each other. Blindly.
You don't have to know who this other guy is. He might be a wife beater. You don't even know.
No idea.
Like, he could be everything opposite of your morals. You don't even know. And you're going to support him.
But the go-to is blindly support.
The go-to is blindly support. I was like, I personally, as a woman, just because I'm hardcore girl code. I'm sorry, I'm trying to work on my enunciation. My allergies are outrageous right now. It's hard for me to talk.
Yeah.
If another girl came up to me right now, I would immediately do that. But I don't think I could go up to any just random girl and do that.
No, I bet you guaranteed we know exactly what would happen. The girl would look at you up and down and be like, what are you talking about?
Or like not even entertain you, just turn around.
Or turn around, yeah.
So I'm like, the only time girls do that with other girls is when they're drunk in the women's bathroom. And they're like, you look great. Like,
that's true.
That's the only time we do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as women, I just feel like we should have women's backs the way men have men's backs.
Blindly supporting.
Blind support.
Just support, and then you find out afterwards they're a piece of shit. You're like, well, shit.
Yeah.
But that's what men do, and they're forgiven. They're allowed to do that. Why can't we do it?
So that's why I was so heated in that moment, because just my personal morals were being so tested in that moment. And I was in the break room and I was raging and I was telling the girls, I was like, I'm signing you. I'm fucking over this place. Fuck this shit. I'm going to go take a shot next door. Like, I was so mad. And everybody was like, Don't let people ruin your energy. Don't let people ruin that for you. Don't let girls ruin your night. But it just was so against my personal morals and my personal thoughts. Like, oh God, that just really got me.
It's got me, and I wasn't even there. Like, I'm sitting here just thinking and just, yeah, I don't get it. I don't know why.
And that was my thing. And then as soon as she got her 4 cocktails and I was on the box dancing, getting my shit, like,
I gotta find this line.
She was so happy. She was kissing on her dude, hugging on her dude, kissed. Like, everybody was joking and laughing after I left. Like, I got the brunt of it, and then she got her free drinks. I'm sure of whatever she wanted because everybody knew she was raging.
I would have been.
And then she was so happy.
I'm bothered. I'm bothered the fact that she got her way.
Yeah.
She threw a tantrum like a child. She got her way. And then you have to sit there and just be like, this cunt.
For real.
Fucking cunt.
Oh, God. I was mad. I'm not going to lie. It was so much for me to deal with in 40 minutes. And I was busy. Like, I had a full table. I had mounds of chips, and she's trying to be like, hey, come here while I'm mucking.
Right, while you're
I'm like, lady, I'm mucking.
Yeah, we don't have machines here.
Get out of my face. Oh, God, it was so much.
Ugh. I hate it. I hate it for you. I hate it for women in general. I hate all of it.
So that was my start to my entire what the fuck night. All right.
I don't even know what to follow that up with.
I know.
I'm so mad.
Have you had Karens?
I haven't had Karens, but I did have this. Oh, man. It kind of lines up to, like, since we're talking about women.
Karen or Kevin's?
The perspective of women. Oh, man. I don't even know how to start this because this man I came back from break and this guy was sitting at my table. Well, hi, everyone. We did the thing where we talked for way too long, and I have to split up this episode into 2 parts. I know I don't really like when people separate an episode into 2 parts, but sometimes gotta do it because if not, we'll have a 2-hour episode, which some people like, most people don't. So this is the end of part 1. In part 2, you're gonna hear all about my what the fuck update or story. It's a really interesting one about a guy and what he feels about women, which kind of was in line with Tori's story about women against women, and then I talk about a man and how he feels about women and my little experience with him on the game. So stay tuned for part 2. That will be dropping next week, and make sure you subscribe, like, share with your friends, and we'll see you in part 2.